Welcome to this presentation, Asynchronous Day 2. This module will focus on strategies for supporting English language learners participating in alternate curriculum programs. The Multilingual and Multicultural Education Division within LAUSD has many resources, including high-quality strategies to support English language learners. Today, we will focus on some key practices to support English language learners participating in alternate curriculum programs. The practices we will cover today include explicit instruction in phonological awareness and phonics, extensive and varied vocabulary instruction, structured academic talk, use of students' primary languages to build literacy and reading comprehension, daily intensive small group reading interventions, and independent reading of appropriate texts. Let's take a closer look at these high-quality practices for teaching our students who are English language learners and are participating in alternate curriculum programs. The first high-quality strategy to support English language learners begins with explicit instruction in phonological awareness and phonics. Research shows students with intellectual disabilities highly benefit from explicit instruction in phonemic awareness. Instruction needs to be modified to be more concrete, such as using objects as a visual cue or providing more than one mode of learning. Students with intellectual disabilities may need more time to acquire phonemic awareness skills than their typically developing peers. The first step to begin explicitly and systematically addressing phonemic awareness skills is to conduct a diagnostic assessment on the student. Using a diagnostic tool, such as the ones located in Unique Learning System under benchmark assessments, can help educators assess students' foundational skills and establishing a baseline, thus informing our instruction. ULS's diagnostic tool can be very beneficial in letting us know what concepts the student has already mastered and what concepts we need to focus on to teach. Once you have administered an assessment to determine the areas you can work on with the student, you can use the following strategies to provide explicit instruction in the areas of phonological awareness and phonics instruction. For example, one strategy is to focus on initial letters or sounds of age-appropriate vocabulary words. Here we have a vocabulary word from February's thematic unit. The vocabulary word is fight. Therefore, we have the student identify the sound they are hearing in that vocabulary word. If you have a student that is nonverbal, instead of requiring the child to speak responses, create a response board that will allow the student to point to their answers. Another strategy is to provide concrete visual reminders of the sound being covered. In this case, we would use realia or objects that are found within the student's environment. Book Creator can also be used to support this strategy. You can create electronic books using pictures of high interest materials that begin with different letters or sounds. Additional activities to strengthen phonological awareness can include providing activities where students can segment individual sounds or phonemes, creating new words by changing initial, medial, or ending sounds are also great activities. Using Google Slides for this activity is a great way to practice this skill during distance learning. Additionally, Jamboard, which is free and available via Google Suite, is a great tool to use for having students sort words or pictures based on their sounds. The example provided here shows 4 pictures, which include some pictures from the ULS monthly vocabulary word list. Students can take turns looking at a picture, determining what sound it starts with, and sorting it into the correct rectangle or area. A final activity to strengthen phonological awareness is to have students identify words with a particular sound. These activities can be implemented in small breakout groups to maximize time and reduce student-teacher ratios. The second component of high-quality instruction for English language learners attending or participating in alternate curriculum programs includes providing extensive and varied vocabulary instruction. This can include designing lessons that expose students to academic terms, words with multiple meanings, similar sounding terms with different meanings, synonyms and antonyms, as well as multiple representations of a concept. ULS French communication boards included with each ULS thematic unit can be one of the many tools we can use to teach our students academic vocabulary. Additionally, the Oxford Picture Dictionary, or OPD curriculum, can also provide an added layer of vocabulary instructional support to our lessons. In general, vocabulary development is a crucial aspect of successful reading because a highly evolved vocabulary enhances a student's ability to infer meaning and comprehend what is read. Vocabulary instruction, therefore, is a critical component of an individual's education. There are many reasons why building academic vocabulary and language are so important for our student population. First, research studies demonstrate that comprehension of curricular material decreases as the number of unknown words encountered by our students increase. Secondly, English language learners often struggle with an overall depth of word knowledge. Therefore, it is imperative we build in scaffolded supports to strengthen this area for our students. Lastly, LTELs, or long-term English language learners, may not have been explicitly taught the study skills or behaviors associated with academic success and engagement. Addressing these components within our lessons will help create robust vocabulary instruction and experiences for our students. Some ways to build in scaffolded vocabulary instruction can include the following: providing opportunities for students to label objects around their environment, pairing words with visuals, even if students are not able to read them independently yet, providing examples and non-examples of vocabulary words and their meanings, providing concrete definitions by using videos, visuals, or concrete objects, employing the use of synonyms to explain abstract vocabulary terms, and finally, using word trees to visually map out the ways in which words are related. The third component of a high-quality strategy to address English language learners participating in alternate curriculum programs includes embedding opportunities within lessons for structured academic talk. Structured academic talk refers to developing prompts and lessons that support students in using language to construct new knowledge. Additionally, this requires teachers to model and teach how to use the language and build new knowledge. We can do this by providing sentence frames or stems, closed sentences using pictures and/or core boards, using voice output devices, or choral responses. The fourth high-quality strategy for supporting English language learners who are participating in alternate curriculum programs include building literacy by using the student's primary language whenever possible. First, students may struggle to understand directions. Therefore, they may need the directions spoken to them in their home language to support understanding. With translation and modeling, the student has a higher chance of being successful. The same goes for helping them adhere to classroom routines. Students who do not understand the language spoken in the classroom need to have the classroom routines, including rules and expectations, translated into their home language. Finally, it is important to help students develop a way to connect vocabulary to increase their comprehension. Research studies have found that knowledge, skills, concepts, and ideas that a student has learned in their first language can often be transferred into their learning of the second language at a higher rate. There are many benefits of implementing small group instruction, especially during distance learning. Some of these benefits include the ability to increase student participation and engagement, ability to provide more specific feedback to students, providing differentiated activities based on student needs, and allowing for students to progress at their own rate while we carefully take data collection notes to inform our instruction. Finally, the sixth high-quality strategy to support English language learners attending alternate curriculum programs includes the provision of independent reading opportunities of appropriate texts. By providing these opportunities, students can practice decoding words at their independent level, thus increasing their engagement, motivation, and reading ability. Tools such the EPIC app and the ULS library offer many age-appropriate and age-respectful stories to choose from. In addition to the high-quality strategies discussed for supporting English language learners in alternate curriculum programs, LAUSD's Multicultural and Multilingual Education Department highlights a focus on active listening, extended communication, and oral summarizing. The English language learner instructional approaches are a pedagogical tool to help focus efforts on language and maximize the opportunities for language output and learning. The first focus is active listening, and it is based on intentional planning. While planning a lesson, educators need to determine the language students will need to produce to effectively meet the learning targets and meaningfully engage in the learning activity. Based on this understanding of the language demands of their learning targets, the teachers model the language and set a purpose for listening. They teach students how to listen to the language modeled because students will use it as a basis for their output. In other words, active listening strategically teaches students how to understand and use the language the teacher is modeling. The second focus is extended communication. This requires the teachers to develop prompts and lessons that support students in using language to construct new knowledge. A minimum expectation of 4 exchanges in a constructive conversation or 4 connected sentences for individual output are established. Explicitly introducing and sustaining this minimum expectation supports academic English language learners in using constructive conversations and academic language to build their knowledge of content and the constructive conversation skills ever so needed. As previously discussed, we can support our students to extend their communication by providing scaffolds. These scaffolds can include sentence frames or stems, providing closed sentences, making use of pictures and or core boards, and using choral responses. Finally, the third focus of the English language learner instructional approach is oral summarizing. Oral summarizing requires teachers to intentionally plan for and explicitly teach students how to orally summarize their thinking. Oral summarizing requires the synthesizing of ideas across text and content, areas to draw one's own conclusions. It combines parts from different sources into one cohesive oral text. Academic English language learners must have consistent and multiple opportunities to analyze language and text across content, and then orally summarize their thinking as a way to solidify their knowledge. Oral summarizing brings together a complex set of cognitive skills that allow students to make decisions and evaluate what ideas to include, how to organize those ideas to clearly convey their thinking, and as a result of this planning and delivery, to arrive at new learning. English language learners participating in alternate curriculum programs require our united effort to help them succeed. It is important to establish a low stress learning environment, have clear expectations that are positively stated, use visuals to enhance comprehension whenever possible, assess and reflect upon student performance as well as our own, and provide differentiated instruction based on assessed student levels and areas of need. We hope you have enjoyed this module. Thank you for joining us.